Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MTG Study Hall Quarantine Edition. I was going to say social distancing edition, but both. It's both of them. I am one of your hosts, Brett, and I am joined by Dave, JC, Lily, and Tam on the mic. Before we launch into things, Tam has a little bit of bookkeeping he's going to take care of for us. Take it away, Tam.
Thanks, Brett. If you like the show and you want to go out and support us, please do so at patreon.com/TCGuniversity. $1, just $1, gets you access to the entire podcast early and live, so you can join us in the chat like so many people are doing right now. So thank you guys so much. Just like all of these awesome people, we've got Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albino, Basic, Bryce Rastek, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jesse Morrison, Justin Farst, Justin Hobb, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Lucinda Ledka, Okamala, man, it's so, all right. Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Theodore Ruiz, and Tyler Zapies. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and being an awesome sponsor. But if you don't have a buck to toss, that's totally chill. You can find us free about a week later on YouTube, as well as a bunch of podcast services around the globe. And check out our live streams out on twitch.tv/TCGuniversity. We've got a ton of content going up pretty much on every platform that you can think of. Last thing, thank you to our sponsors. We've got Nuclear Inked Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop, Cards Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Decked Protection. But I'll tell you more about those a bit later.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Tam. So, before we launch into things, JC, what have you been doing in Magic this past week?
Well, I've been doing a couple things. So I'm playing right now I'm recording right now in my living room, mostly because I got my VR set up here in the living room. And I've been playing a little bit on virtual desktop, exploring how interesting it is to play Magic in a VR setting. Using because like in VR, you get to be in these environments where you have like a living room in front of you with a 50-inch television screen that you can throw your app up on and like look through it that way. But it makes me think a little bit about hand tracking and how Magic might be more fun in VR. And I've been watching some various arena matches and stuff like that, just kind of thinking about how we could extend the digital platform of Magic and pondering in that direction because I dig that kind of thing.
Okay, very cool. I want to hear more about VR. We should probably say that for the post show, though. So, alrighty, Dave, what have you been doing this past week?
Just finding something I want to play in standard. But I like looking for houses. So, you know the audience does not, however. So,
fair enough. Have you settled on a deck?
Not really. No, there's still. It feels like there's still so many options. There are so many things, and some of them I even like. I've played some blue-white in our group chat. I shared a Simic Flash list that's been doing well, that I was doing all right with last night. That one was specifically for you, Lily, so you're welcome. It played really nicely, I think. There's a Sultai control deck, there's blue-white, there's everything. Like, people are even still playing Lurrus, even though Lurrus is just not that great right now. So, just so many things.
Okay.
Some things are even good.
Okay, Lily, what have you been doing this past week?
Mostly Brawl. Gosh, yeah, that's about it. I don't know. There've been some. I've been like digging more into a lot of the like the Magic adjacent stuff, like doing more digging into like a lot of like fan works and stuff when it comes to not just the custom cards, but like I don't know if fan fiction is the right word, but just engaging more with the like people who make art about Magic.
Okay. Well, very cool.
Nice.
And for me, playing Arena a little bit. Did right before we started this Thursday that the live show's going out. Jumpstart is now on Arena, which is very exciting. And available there. The paper release was very delayed, and most distributors didn't get as much as they wanted. So I have a little bit that I get to play with in paper this weekend. Maybe I swing by Krypton, but so did a little bit of Jumpstart there. Did Brawling with Brett. Played Cat gave me a Bossry deck that was really fun, so we played Bossry. It's not Magic related, but I'm excited, and you're gonna get it. I get to pick up my puppy tomorrow. Commander William T. Riker of the USS Enterprise will be coming aboard tomorrow, so very excited to pick Riker up. And I was hoping someone was gonna drag me about it, like Tam did last week. I also got through all of the cards in your set except the rares, Lily, and I was waiting to say anything in case someone's like, well, Brett wasn't looking at my set, and I could be like, fuck you, yes,
Okay, so I figured that at this point you just weren't, and that it would be rude to bother you about it.
No, that's fair. But no, well, you can bug me. If I say you can bug me, you can bug me. I am through everything but the rares because that is all I had time to get through when I had
That's
some.
fair. That's most of the set.
But we will not go. We can maybe talk a little at the post show. I wanted to throw something out there, but we'll say that for the post show, and we're gonna, without any further ado,
I feel valued.
I'm glad I could be a part of that. I liked what I saw very much, but again, we're gonna save. I want to talk about that. Let's actually talk about that in the post show. We are going to talk about, are you having fun? And so, in Magic, not just all the time. So, if you saw the YouTube title card, you are seeing the little Magic Arena happy face, sad face that pops up. And did you have fun that game? And then you click one of those buttons, and we have no idea what Wizards does with that information. But I felt like there was a lot to talk about there on the Are You Having Fun? So I just kind of want to open it up before we get narrow it down. What are our thoughts about that button in Arena? Anyone have thoughts, opinions?
I think it's a good button to have because pressing yes or no can allow the data miners that surely work for that platform, all two of them. No, I'm sure there's a lot more. It allows the people who mine the data to see what got a lot of negative responses, then look back over the video gameplay of that game and see what happened.
Okay, and Dave, you were saying something a little bit about it right when we were starting to talk about it, and I said, no, don't. Save it for the show. So you were saying that you always feel guilty for clicking yes.
Yeah, so normally that'll pop up after I've just been a complete shit for like 10 turns in a row, just doing a bunch of things, just all thesing my opponents, all these different things. So then like it's almost like WotC's just saying, are you proud of yourself? Are you okay with what you just did? You don't see any problems with that. Oh, okay. Like, I'm kind of hoping that they don't use that as market research. And like, even if I did lose or something like that, it almost feels like, did you have fun that match? Am I a poor sport if I say no? It kind of feels like it. That's kind of the, like, I don't want to be that guy. Well, yeah, I didn't have fun because I didn't win. Like, what? I don't know what they're really trying to find out about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts in a nutshell on it. Like, I understand what they're trying to do with it. They want to get firsthand information right after a match, and I'm sure for years, if they had an opportunity to just hang out at PTQs or FNMs and watch a match, and afterwards just go to both players, just pull them apart real quick and be like, "Did you guys have fun that match? You didn't? Well, why not? Or did you?" Yeah, I'm sure they would have wanted to do that now that they kind of have a captive audience because of the pandemic, as well as Arena in general, because I'm pretty sure that it was showing that beforehand.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Lily, what are your thoughts on the button?
So I think it is more useful that the button. So, okay. I think the button probably gets more useful info from the person who won versus the person who lost. In that, like, the did you have fun, yes or no, matters more for your game design. Like, if the people who are winning are not having fun, I think that's a bigger indicator of a problem than if the people who are losing are not having fun. Whereas, like, people who are losing, in a lot of ways, are expected to not be having fun, and people who are winning are expected to be having fun. Like, in that kind of just nebulous sense of, hey, I'm playing a game, I'm winning, that's great. So in your little like diagram of, you know, winning, losing, had fun, didn't have fun, like that part where you get people who are winning who didn't have fun, I think is a lot more valuable. I also think it's super good that they don't ask why, because I think on the whole, players are, and Mara has reiterated this too, or Mara may have said it first, but I agree, like people generally know when something's wrong. People don't generally know what the wrong thing is.
No, I remember reading him talking about that, where it's it's like somebody might think they have an understanding like why they are or are not having fun, but
Right.
you don't spend if your job isn't thinking about it, you might not
Right.
have the right answer, even though it's you having it. And
Right.
I was talking about this a little bit yesterday with Kat, and I like the button, but I hope that they're using it in a very in-depth way. And I think you're right. I think it's going to be hard to use it on the losing player. And I try not to just be like, I lost. No, because there are games that I will end and be like, okay, fair enough.
Right.
But I hope that I hope if it's just win-loss, I think they are wasting a ton of data that is right there to be mined, because I think it's important to be like, if you're asking it in Brawl, what was your opponent's commander? Did you get mana flooded? Did you get mana screwed? Did your opponent put up a fight? How much did you win by? Now, maybe it's hard to read that, but you can at the very least compare life totals. If my opponent never lost any life and I got some, did you have fun for the person who did it, for the person who didn't? Like, so I think there's so many data points, and I hope that they're using that, and I hope that they can say, man, everyone who plays against 5-color Niv Mizzet, everyone always says no every time.
So, kind of related to this, right? It would be easy, especially that it happens right at the end of the game, to snapshot what the board looks like. And I think what the board and graveyard look like at the end of the game can often, like, it's a point of data that is not super complicated to record. Like, for example, if all these situations where you have X commander at the other side of the table and you've got, like, end the game with, let's say, like, 2 lands in play or something like that, right? That's gonna say quite a bit about what's going on, and that's all data that they could just. Well, right. I understand that probably all the matches recorded, JC, but getting all of the data from the whole match is not something that could be automated easily. Whereas,
sorry, go ahead.
Whereas, like, certain points, like what's in the graveyard, what's on the battlefield, what's cards in hand, that sort of thing, are all things that they could easily just pull a ton of data and then just interpret the data as a whole, instead of trying to interpret each game and then aggregate that and then interpret that data.
And JC, you might know more computer stuff than I do. How hard would it be to be like, what was the first turn this player missed a land drop? Like, if you're making your program reasonably, shouldn't that be something that should be easy to check?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of don't think it'd be hard at all to digest entire matches down into like a text file that is 50 lines long at most, and aggregate the data of what happened on one turn versus what happened on the next turn. I mean, you could play it out just like if you were reading chess moves. You can, like, card name did this turn, this response, and then I think you could leverage data from, like, how many people did this on turn 2, how many people did this on turn 4, what was the average time taken between turns, how much time did people spend considering attackers, how much time did people consider counterspell options when they had them in their hand, things of that nature.
How many times did they use the little emotes?
Right. But that doesn't give you the full picture. Like, it doesn't. I don't even think a lot of that is useful. Like, did somebody not make their 3rd land drop because they kept a bad hand? Can your algorithm determine, like Magic is not Turing complete. You couldn't, like, it's complicated enough that it wouldn't be reasonable to expect to be able to, like, I think making decisions about what is or isn't, like, a game before you put that data together is probably bad.
I think that that's just a piece of the puzzle. If they can pull up all of this data, if they can find all of this data, then I think that's just, they're still going to need somebody to manually review all of this stuff.
Sure.
Maybe that could be used as some sort of flag, like you were saying, like, what turn was the land drop missed? Let's review the actual game. Is that actually relevant? Let's take a look at all these other games, or, like, spot check a couple of them to see if we start seeing recurring themes.
I would.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I think where it becomes useful is, like, well, we think Oko is a problem, so here's the win rate we're seeing with people with Oko in their deck. Let's also leverage the data for what turn are people playing Oko. I think that's, like, useful data.
And I don't know. I live in the corporate world, and I spend days filling out. I spend a good portion of my days filling out spreadsheets with a lot of little things, so then we can run big reports and say and make decisions based on them. So I don't think you can just do that all the time. But so what are they missing your land drops? Well, ideally, if your data is being compiled correctly, well, then they could say, well, okay, so players are missing. So these players said they didn't have fun every time they missed their 3rd and 5th land drops. Did those players mulligan? Yes. How many times did those players mulligan on average? Like, ideally, you can tune this data in and it doesn't do everything. But if you can say, when we ask players whether or not they had fun, every time we asked them that in a game where they missed 2 land drops that their opponents didn't in the first 6 turns, they always said no. And now maybe the thing's like, well, the player should be running more lands or mulliganing more aggressively. Well, then you could tweak how many starting lands that when you start pulling colors into a deck, how many lands auto-load in. And in your tooltip, you say lands have 4 to 27 deck. Like, it's like you can say new player experience. We need to say when we give them a starter deck, then we need to make sure they're running 25 lands. So then when they go to make their own deck, they think 25 is the baseline. So like, my hope is that they have a lot of people who are trained to look at this data, really looking at this data. And it's not just numbers and data, but I feel like they have a tool they've never had before. And you can use information like this to make positive change.
Like I think they've had these tools beforehand because they could always just review matches on Magic Online.
That's
But now
true.
they have way more users that are using these programs, so
That's
they can
also
get the
true. No, that's fair. I don't know. Like the automation of that kind of thing really like it's a nerve for me. Apparently I'm a Luddite. I didn't think I was, but here we are. But actually, like I don't know. Like I don't really. Here's my concern. I don't trust them to make good decisions about the game for decisions they have been making for 15, 20 years at this point. So like the new stuff is kind of like, are you sure? Can we like maybe fix this thing first?
And
Back in my day, Magic was like this.
I think it's
like they just keep printing free spells, and then why that's a bad idea.
Can you don't?
no. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I don't want to say this like Wizards. You could absolutely misuse this data, or you could taking this data doesn't mean you're using it right. So you could focus on the wrong thing. But I think something to consider is mulligan changes. We've had mulligans didn't change for quite a while.
That's true.
And now we've had several changes. And it's always interesting to me, particularly when best of one's becoming quite big, where people, I remember several posts I've seen on the subreddit for Arena and Magic where people say, hey, we have user data for users who use our second party app that tracks stuff. We can give you best of one win rates, and best of one in this format in standard right now or in limited right now is that the player who goes first wins 57% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You need to think about that. Like if you need to, I mean, because and it feels like Wizards has really been trying to lower that number of playing first. I mean, and we've talked about chess in the pre-show and a little bit so far in the show. That is one of the biggest things. My understanding in chess is the reality of that going first is a numerically relevant.
Oh yeah.
Advantage.
In chess with scoring, they give there's an amount of score that they apply to the person who goes second as like a handicap. Full stop.
Like I think that's probably one of the reasons why 2 out of 3 is the best way to do it, because someone has to go first by definition of the rules. But I kind of get it there. Like it's only 7% if that's the case, but that's like 7% is a statistically significant number.
And I don't know. I kind of pulled 7 out of nowhere. I've seen the number certainly float between like 50. I've seen 55. I think I've seen 57. I don't want to quote a specific format or a specific time, but it's one of those. And I think this is just a hard thing in game design. I don't want to get too far out there, but I play Warhammer 40K, and that's a game where in the last edition there were 5 to 7 turns, and in the current new edition there's only 5 turns. And whoever gets to go first gets to shoot enemies off the map. And if you can blow up half your opponent's army before they get a shoot, I've won a lot of 40K games in turn 1. And yeah, we played out 2 or 3 more turns, but it was all over but for the crying and the blowing up. And so I think it is hard. It's a hard reality in turn-based games. I mean, in Hearthstone literally gives you a lotus petal in the second player's opening hand.
Oh yeah, like each game is, I think they've found a way to balance it a little bit better than Magic does, because I mean, it's not irrelevant that you don't get to draw on turn 1, if you go first. But I think that the way that Hearthstone does it, the way that Shadowverse does it, a lot of other of the online games generally balance it just a little bit better. But I think they that's because they've had Magic to build off of, see what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and then try and improve it.
Mhm.
I think in multiplayer too, the player going first still shouldn't draw. Like if the data the Command Zone collected from a couple of years ago is still relevant, maybe they shouldn't.
We should put down playing first as its own topic. I want to peel us back just a little bit, just to the fun having.
Is
So-
playing first fun?
When you have Force of Will backup for your combo, it is a blast.
I mean, that's exactly it, though. I think there's a lot of power in this button. I think it seems like it's really a simple thing. It's like, well, we're checking to see if people are enjoying our game or not. But if you're leveraging your data correctly, you can learn a whole lot about how people are playing your game and when they report that they're having fun. And I think a point you made earlier, Lily, about how you gain information, more useful information from the people who are winning and whether they're having fun. I think your goal as a game designer should be on both sides. You should have higher than you expect reporting of people having fun when they are losing. And you should have lower than you hope people saying no when they're winning. And if you have both of those things true, you're doing a really successful job. But I think with that button, they can do a lot of things. Like Dave, you mentioned earlier, the "Are you having fun?" almost feeling mocking when you're doing things that can be perceived as like shitty.
Being an absolute piece of shit. That's which I have a lot of fun doing on stream.
Or like when Winota was letting you steal 3 lands on turn 4 or 5, like, ooh, you having fun?
That's
It's like,
fine.
I am.
It's
So I
totally
think-
fine and balanced.
I think there's a level of "Are you having fun?" is a question that starts to enforce a little bit of a social contract thing of like, I should be having fun. It keeps asking me if I'm having fun. Should I care about the other person having fun? And also it just gives a great opportunity if they're leveraging data to look at what each player answered and then see what happened during the course of the game and spreadsheet that out and write reports based on it.
And I want to kind of pivot a little bit here. We're still on the same topic, but this is going to be a little bit of a shift. We talked about fire, and I think the F in fire is for fun. And the F in fun
What's
is
the F in fun?
oh, that's for friends who do stuff together.
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm glad
I thought it was like a cough of the hammer situation where the F and fun is for fun.
Damn it.
anyway, is fun the main goal? Because I like horror video games, I like horror movies, I like bleak and dark media. Is fun the goal, or should engagement be the goal? Like, I there are several movies I could list, books or movies or video. I like The Last of Us. I had fun in parts of The Last of Us. There were parts that weren't fun, but I was engaged the whole time, start to finish. Is fun the end-all, be-all goal of media, or even just a game?
I think you're asking a deep philosophical question there that has been in the realm of psychology for a long time.
We got 50
Is
more
the
minutes. Let's do it.
attainment of pleasure the
For-
ultimate goal in life?
For explicitly games, I think yes. If you're not having fun, then why are you doing it? For other things, like for media, like I guess there's certain aspects of it that are going to be fun because most media just exists to try and convey some sort of idea or some story. And I guess you can, like, I don't know. There are things that can be. That's weird. Can you enjoy yourself without having fun?
Yes,
Is that what we're getting at?
100%.
I mean, but it's like this is a weird example, and maybe I'm going too far off the mark because it's not. It's something like Schindler's List isn't fun, but it's an engaging film.
Yes.
So Magic should be more like
No. But I'm also not even going to say Last of Us is the Schindler's List of video. No. But The Last of Us had a lot of things that made me feel bad. It made me feel bad, but I cared.
Right.
And like I'm trying to think. I've been playing a lot of Paper Commander. I don't feel good when my scheme gets thrown off, when I'm going for some crazy thing and I get stopped. But I felt something.
Right.
and like maybe it was disappointment, and maybe there was a quick flash of anger, and then some disappointment, and then maybe some chagrin. But I just felt 3 different emotions, and my brain made chemicals come out in my head. That's something. Like maybe I didn't have fun in that moment, but like, do I have to be having fun? I'm caring. If I care, maybe that's something. Now, if it's too negative, if it's just bad, that's not good. If you play Magic and you're pissed and you're unhappy and you go to bed mad all the time, maybe there's a problem. But like, I think sometimes it's okay to be mad or sad or annoyed or excited or
That's exact. So, surprising no one, I don't think having fun is the important part. I do think being engaged is the important part. And I think a lot of people confuse being engaged with having fun, which is to say that when they're engaged, they interpret it as fun. But I see fun as this more like kind of surface level thing, whereas engagement is this more kind of root feeling of being engaged with a game. Well, sorry, it's this feeling of being like drawn into a game of like putting yourself in it and taking something out of it, of being like wrapped into it and having it get to you in a way that's important and enriching. Is that fun? Not always. I would even say that it is better if it is more often not fun, because like fun is just one emotion, is one thing you might get out of it. It could be frustrating, it could be exciting, it could be aggravating, it could be like there's a lot of different ways to feel about a game, and if you focus just on that one emotion, all of the other nuance of engagement gets left in the ditch on the side of the road.
And something I wanted to throw out is so like hypothetically, if I lose and I didn't have fun, but I lost, but now I'm let's say I'm annoyed. Let's say I am feeling annoyed. I can go, why did I lose? What can I do to be better? That frustration and annoyance could push me to, okay, I need to do better. Let me look at someone else's list. Let me read an article. So now I've engaged with other things and I am trying to better myself. I'm trying to be a better player. Or another thing, so 40K. Part of that is you paint your little army men. It is not always fun when you're on the 30th guy and you've got to make the 30th guy backpack yellow and pants blue and gun silver. But then when you set down those 30 little painted guys on the battlefield, there's this feeling you get days later where you feel this accomplishment. And I wasn't having fun maybe when I painted it, but now I feel this accomplishment. Or I keep playing my DePaula deck and I've only won once with it, but damn it, when I won with dwarves and vehicles, that accomplishment. It was more than just fun. It makes all those frustrating times that happened the previous weeks worth it because now I get it. So I don't know.
That's exactly my mind on this too.
JC, Dave, sorry, I immediately just talked about you. Guys have thoughts on that?
I mean, I suppose it's possible to feel multiple emotions at once too. You can have fun in other parts too. That can be like the secondary emotion. Like I'm more thinking out loud at this point because these aren't things that I normally think about.
Okay. Tam, you come from different games. Do you have any thoughts? See if Tam is to the mic or if he's in the room.
Man, fun's just like the goal, right? And so this really goes back all the way to the player demographics conversation that you had of like, that's like almost an exact parallel of, hey, how do you have fun? And so any way that you can justify that you are having fun, I think it's something that you could do. If we want to like go all the way back to the button, if they had a yes/no prompt, and then if you decided to actually do it, put in a sentence up to a paragraph, why did I have fun? Like what? Like yes/no is so limited in information. No.
Man,
well, why didn't you have fun? Oh, because I had 3 spells counterspelled in a row, and I wanted to play the game as opposed to watch my opponent play the game. And then conversely, the other person clicked yes on it and went, well, I counterspelled 3 of his spells in a row, and I won on turn 3, and I didn't let him play the game. Like, just the yes/no just is.
You know, if it decided to ask me, so why did you have fun? That would definitely be arena shaming me at that point. Not close.
Why did you have fun, you dirty boy?
So, Tam, like on that, like I was saying before, I don't think most people know why they didn't have fun. Like when you lose to turn 4 Ugin, like you might be like, "Oh, I hate Ugin. I didn't have fun because Ugin." But the answer is, you didn't have fun because Ugin came down on turn 4.
And because I didn't have a way to interact with the ramp.
Right. There are so many like other things to that having somebody give their opinion on why it is usually going to give you the wrong answer. I don't think people understand why they do or don't like things more often than they do.
I want to shout out Ray threw in the chat. Stephen King says the same thing about beta readers. It's kind of a universal truth about consumers of media. Just because you might not know why or why not you're having fun. And I don't mean this to be like, you are too dumb to understand. But like, if you aren't in the creative half of this or the half of this that has to, hell, even answer to a higher up or a boardroom, it takes training to know and understanding people to understand why people do and don't enjoy something. And that's sometimes I feel guilt on the yes, no button when I hit no. It's like, no, I lost. And it popped up right away and I'm mad. But then I think about it's like, no, that was a good game. And yeah, I'm frustrated I lost and I feel guilty. Or sometimes I've hit, I want to say yes. And then I'm like, wait a minute, no. I was playing against a deck I hated and I spent the whole time on my stream talking about why this is a problem with Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet shouldn't be in Brawl. Niv Mizzet shouldn't be in Brawl.
Then you should have answered no. No was the correct answer.
No, that's Dave. Like, I feel guilty for putting no because then I just feel petulant for losing. Instead of I don't feel guilt for yes.
Let's just point something out. At no point have I ever felt guilty about the things that I do in this game. All right, that is not what I experience guilt over, and there are many things. Not that.
Well, fair enough. But I don't know. It's just I don't think, and I feel like if the button said, "Were you engaged during this game?" Like I also don't think people. I think fun is maybe the single button is the best thing you can do, and then you can try to extrapolate because you do know what you're feeling.
Right.
You do know if you feel good or bad after that game. So you get to know what your body's telling you. You get to tell me what you're feeling. Now and that's maybe why the Y box would just be Ugin's bullshit isn't helpful when they can break down that data.
Right.
And I don't think were you engaged that game is a useful button. But
to counter that point, if because you said you know what you're feeling, if 90% of the game says that Ugin's not fun, the people can take and go in their board reading when they are figuring out how to make people have fun. Hey, is Ugin the problem, or are other XYZ things making Ugin the problem? Let's put our brain to it as designers. The issue, the obvious thing is Ugin, but how did we get there? Is it just him himself? Is it these other things? And that's not our job. Our job is to like the product that we are given to play is Ugin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm positive that somebody who's way smarter than me, who's getting paid real money to figure out how to actually like balance a game, can take that feedback. I don't know how somebody can take, yes, I had fun, and go, oh shit, we're doing a good job. Or, no, I didn't have fun. Oh, I guess we should change everything since I don't have a heading.
And then we did. Thankfully, Wizards does play like they do. They have little rooms with like cameras or two-way mirrors. They run surveys. So yes, I had fun. No, I didn't. Isn't their only thing. And like so, let's talk about Ugin as an example. So the Ugin's back in standard. Ugin wasn't a big problem. Ugin wasn't a haymaker back when it was printed back in cons. I don't think. Not
in standard. I don't think.
Somebody said it was in like one.
It's also similarly powerful standard.
Yeah, but so they can take it that like so Ugin was showing up in maybe one deck and during cons block standard. And actually I don't know if it's actually showing up as much. We might just be blowing this out of proportion. I've read some stuff saying the metagame's kind of actually spread out a little bit.
I've hardly played against it, honestly. And there have been a lot of instances where my opponent finally plays the Ugin and then they just die.
Mm-hmm. Which so I don't want to be there like Ugin is the thing, but I think it's a good example for us to use because then Wizards has, thankfully, we have 25 years of this game, so that not only do we have the surveys, the play tests, the arena and moto data, they also get to go, let's look at our tournament results from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever cons was. Oh, God. Maybe 5. I don't know.
It was a while ago.
And it was after your wedding.
Less than 5. Okay. I too use my graduations from high school, college, and my wedding to basically place everything that has ever happened to me.
No,
on the
it was not.
timeline.
It was September 2014, so 6 years ago.
I opened a Pia and Kieran Nalar on the day of my or the midnight after my wedding. So whatever that Magic Origins was the set that was my wedding was the weekend of that pre-release because we went after the wedding to play Magic Origins.
Oh my god, my feet.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a. I think I dropped out after 2 rounds and went the hell to bed. Yeah, wouldn't recommend. If you're getting married, don't try to go play a tournament literally after the wedding at midnight. Not a great plan. But anyway, we're off track. But Ugin, we have 2 different things to compare at, and something that actually might bode well for the future, even if they aren't using all this data they've collected right now on Arena to the best of their ability. In 5 more years of Arena, they'll have more, and hopefully they're going to continue to get better at looking at it, and they'll have more things to compare it to. And
I'm ran the game into the ground by.
Oh, I think it's going to take more to kill Magic than what they've been doing.
That was the old thing, right? Magic is the cockroach game. For every one player that quits, 2 more take their place. Or you could go back to the mid to late 90s and start making buttons that say "Save Gaming, Kill a Magic Player." That's a whole different thing. At least I don't think Magic's going to be going anywhere for a while. I think it is firmly set up, solidified as the cockroach game.
Well, we are living in unprecedented times, though.
God.
I think that is an excellent segue into our next topic, though. Is this the cockroach game and you have new players join, and how do those new players stay in there?
And we're going to talk about this after this commercial break.
Big shout outs to our sponsors this week. We have Nuclear Inked Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. This episode is sponsored by Nuclear Inked Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. At Nuclear Inked, you will find a very inclusive environment with artists that share your interests in nerd culture and fandoms alike. Nuclear Inked prides themselves in being Omaha's premier all-custom tattoo shop. So if you're looking to get a custom tattoo, please check out Nuclear Inked here in Omaha, Nebraska. A link will be in the description down below. InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They have recently added a stitch option to all of their playmats. That's what I get. And mouse pads as well. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style. If you want to get 10% off your entire order, please use the code TCGUniversity, all caps, no spaces at checkout, to help support the channel by customizing your game to your style. Cards Custom Build. Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full costumes. Do you want to make a cosplay out of perfectly flowing cloth? Or maybe you want rigid battle armor? Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build either on Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention that TCG University sent you there, and you'll get 5% off of your entire order. And Dex Protection. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. So they know what you want in the products that you buy. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans on stopping their innovations or their drive to refine their products until they're recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, well, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead and check them out. A link will be in the description down below. And with that, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. As JC said, we are going to talk about something that came up briefly last week, a new player sticker shock. JC, you were in the middle of a very good pivot there. Do you want to talk a little bit about this? Open it up for us.
Yeah, I suppose recently getting into VR and actually being into computer gaming for a long time and stuff like that, I feel like the sticker shock of Magic is not that bad. But what kind of can scare a new player off is not like the initial sticker shock. It's more like the expectation of all in, I suppose. Like it feels a little less like I'm going out and purchasing an expensive thing and I'll get this much fun out of it. It feels more like this game has been going on for 25 years and changing a whole lot. So how much money am I going to have to spend on this over the next year? How much money am I going to put into this to continue having fun? If I walk into this casino that is Magic, how much money am I going to have to pour into this casino to keep having fun?
Okay, no, I think that's a good, and it's nice to have other people's perspectives on these, just because I've been playing for so long and my collections gained value so much that I've talked about this plenty of times where I'm just always blown away. I was talking to a coworker today at work. Apparently,
Not casino, stock market.
so yes, I think that's a more apt metaphor. What's the terrible blue overload spell that should be banned in Commander?
Cyclonic.
Cyclonic Rift is like $40 right now.
Yeah.
4-0. That was like I mean, in my head, Cyclonic Rift's $1 rare from that set. So,
Right. I had 4 of them because I had a blue-green deck at the time.
and it's just
And
like,
that was still reprinted, wasn't that? That's it has been reprinted at least once, right?
I think at least once. Let
I
me check.
don't think so.
No, I think it was in one Commander deck. We'll see. Cyclonic Rift. It's been Modern Masters.
One of the modern masters.
One of the more recent ones. Yeah, it's been in a Commander deck, and it's been reprinted 3 times, and it's $35 to $40. Commander 2014, Return to Ravnica, Modern Masters, 2000, and Cutoff. Oh well, not that important. But so like, it's always, and like I have a player in my house who's getting into Commander, and the card prices it's very real, and he has the benefit of saying like, oh, just borrow my cards, write down if you buy any, write and put them in a deck, write down what you own. But like a lot of players who it would be much harder watching Dan build more decks and like, ooh, I want to try this out. We'll go, well, we have that. Why don't you try it out? And then you can try it out, and if you love it, you can start putting the deck together on your own. I can't imagine what it's like for someone who's joining their friends in Commander, and their friends all have 5 to 6 decks, and then they buy a pre-con, and then they buy a few cards here and there, and then they want to try this totally new thing. But that totally new thing hasn't been reprinted for 10 years. So the Commander's $50, and then all the cards you're going to want for this much.
We have an example of that in our play crew. Ray's friend from work.
Okay.
I don't know if he wants to say his name on here, but the tiniest of babies.
No, and it has been. I'm probably a little frustrating to come and take some cheap and have like your cheaper decks or decks you haven't spent as much money on and sit down at our table. And we don't build for power, but so one of my decks
don't look the other way either.
No, yes, one of my decks has a Gaia's Cradle, and yeah, I'm not going to not play with my Gaia's Cradle. It's not in every deck, but it's in some of them, and I've got a few Divining Tops, and I was like, oh, I'm building a green deck. Might as well throw a Rhystic Study in there. Or not a Rhystic Study, a Sylvan Library. And my blue decks, most of them have a Rhystic Study. And it's just like, all these cards are cards that are just like, oh, that's a few bucks, or that's here, that's there. I sorted my Magic cards, and I pulled out the ones that's like, these might be questionable. And there were dozens of cards that it's like, this card is 3 to 4 times more expensive than it used to be, or than I thought it was. Or, yeah, that's the thing. It just keeps more and more people are joining. And Wizards is clearly struggling and striving to get more reprints and to make more Commander precons. We're getting 9 Commander precon decks this year.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Can we get 2 with Zendikar?
2 with Zendikar and 2 with the Commander limited format.
We're getting Commander decks with those 2?
I think we're getting 2. I could be mistaken, but if I'm remembering the news correctly, we're also getting 2 precons.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know, JC. You've been newer to Commander. How does it feel when you come down to a table where everybody's got 6 decks that are generally worth more than yours, or that Joy's making a new deck you might want to play might be over $100 to $200? Like, what's that been like?
I rather think I actually don't think it's too bad. I think it feels pretty much exactly like how it feels if all of your friends are playing the newest PS4 game and you don't have a PS4 and you have to like play with them and you have to go drop $400 to have fun with your friends, or like similarly like with computers and stuff like that. I think there is a there is a level of research and stuff you have to do to figure out how much you're going to spend, or you could spend a lot more. So I think that's where the pitfalls come in on starting Magic as a new player. I feel like that's the biggest pitfall, is not how much you will spend buying the right things. It's how much you will spend buying the things that you don't need.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I think experienced Magic players are in a position where not only do they have a collection, but even if you ignore them, like my whole collection went away. I know how I would build certain commander decks to spend the least amount of money that I would have to spend. Knowledge I wouldn't have if I was just starting.
Oh, that's a great point. Like if my whole deck, my whole collection burned down, and I was like, shit, I need to start new decks. I know the resources. Like, well, I could go check out Mitch at the commander's quarters, and he's got so many videos. So let's say I only want to spend $200. I could build 4 decks, and now I'm back to 4 decks. Now they aren't as powerful as my old ones, but over time I can build that back up. But how many new players have you seen buy Planeswalker decks? Or like how I see those on Reddit all the time. It's like, well, we bought 2 Planeswalker decks, and I'm not necessarily anti-Planeswalker deck, but
or go to Target and buy one of those repack packs, or like I think that's actually really the thing that is most frustrating to new players is, and we've gotten into it in the show before, how many different products there are. There's a lot of products that are just either not good or just not relevant. Like you could literally buy things that are not legal in Commander. Like, and I know like everything's legal in Commander, but like there are like those 2 Chinese decks that were not legal. I mean, like there are examples of things that you can buy that are just like, even if they're not legal, they're not relevant to what everyone's playing, and they don't contain anything that you're actually going to use. And you know, I mean,
your friends play Standard, but you bought box of Modern. You bought 5 packs of Modern Horizons or the triple pack. Or like, it's also, I love this game to death, and it's one of the reasons it's so great. It's so complicated. I had a friend who I haven't talked to in years shoot me a Steam message, and they were like, hey, I know you used to play Magic. I've been playing some, and I want to get better at deck building. Or what are some good good cards to build decks? I wrote 6 paragraphs back. Because there's not an answer to that question that's easy. Because I can say, because then I started getting into formats and stuff, but then it's like, to answer this question well, I need to know what the people you're playing are playing, what format they're playing. If they're playing Modern, I can help you get something Modern put together in colors you like. But it's just like, I want to learn to play Magic. The answer I just give everyone is play Arena then. And now, for the first time ever, Wizards has made an intro product that I'm gonna wait for my final stance on this till I get some more Jumpstart in my hand and play some more in Arena. Jumpstart seems like such a great thing, and I really hope that this is this new thing we just do every year, because it is actually a phenomenal way to start playing the game. But it's hard, and yeah, if your friends play Commander and you buy a Planeswalker deck, you probably should have bought a Commander precon. And if you don't know who to ask, or you just go to Target or Walmart and you don't go to your game store and talk to somebody who's in the know, you're probably going to buy something. You're going to spend too much money on something that's not very good and is probably not going to be useful to play with your friends.
Well,
because talking to people is hard, and the internet people are mean.
Well, also, if you're queer, if you're a person of color, if you're a woman, game stores are scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit! Like, I don't know. Like, it's. They're just not to bemoan any particular game stores. Like I love the people, I love our game stores in Omaha, but I don't love all the people in them. And if I wasn't friends with the owners of one of them, I probably would not go in there.
No, and it's important to it's easy, particularly for me, Mr. Mick, 20-something cis white guy who's been gaming for 20 years. It's easy to be like, well, just go into your friendly local game store and talk to somebody. It's like, first off, that's a step. Second off, you might not even have one. Third off, the person, I have met plenty of people at game stores who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Then again, not targeted at anybody. I've been to a lot of game stores in a lot of different states because I like game stores. And oh man, Just because you're talking to someone who's been selling Magic cards for 10 years doesn't know what they doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Because maybe they're like, oh, the Planeswalker deck is perfect. And maybe it is if you're buying it for two people who are going to start learning together. But if you go, oh, my friends play Magic, I want to play Magic, and they go, oh, here, buy this Planeswalker deck, you need to ask, how do your friends play? They play Commander? Well, it might be kind of confusing, but here are some Commander decks. If you want to play with them, here are some ways to start that out. I also have a book where there's rare cards that are legendary creatures that are $1 or less, and you could pick out something from there. And then we have some free cards over here. It's like, I'm just saying, there's a dozen different responses you could get when you go into the game store and say, I want to play Magic. And those are, and that's it. That's assuming you get a good response and you don't get someone who's an asshole who ignores you or who belittles you or doesn't take you seriously.
But like all of those responses, all of that information also kind of precludes knowing a certain amount about the game to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just like, hey, I saw my friends playing this on one of their computers and on, at like one of their houses, I want to get into this. I don't want to impose on them to teach me.
Or like, I got a pack of this and this art is so cool. This is so cool. How does this work?
Right.
Well, first of all, I mean, and that's the thing. And I also felt bad when I kicked 6 paragraphs back because at the same time, it's like you asked a simple question and I couldn't just give you an answer.
That's a tremendous barrier to entry.
It may look like a simple question, but from experience of things that I do for a living, there is no such thing as a simple question anymore. There just isn't. You say, hey, what's a good card to build around? Well, you want to get, that's not the question you want to answer. And my answer is not what you want to hear either.
And that's
lightning bolt, build red.
No, and that's actually, Dave, that's an incredible point. And it kind of goes back to our last topic of new players a lot of times don't even know the right question to ask. And that's why I've been lazy. I've been wanting to put together a video because I see this on Reddit literally once a week where it's just, where it's, I want to start playing Magic. It's like, okay, that's your goal. But
it almost sounded like you were about to say, why?
No, I missed it. I love this game. I think everybody should try Magic. But that's a hard thing to say. Like, sure, your goal is to start playing Magic. But there's like, and I've started like, okay, how do we start this video? So you want to start playing Magic. And I started thinking about it, I was like, well, we want to talk about this. And then you want to cover this. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, now I'm explaining formats to someone who doesn't even know the difference between, like, doesn't know the structure of a turn. And I'm probably already too far ahead because the first thing we need to do when somebody says, I want to play Magic is you need to put cards in their hand and say, okay, let me show you how.
I don't know that. Okay. I want to collaborate with you on this because I have a lot of opinions on this that I think are useful.
Okay, absolutely. No, and I don't want to just be like, oh, let's do a podcast where we talk about it. Tam has shown me some really cool stuff they've done for Universe that they've worked on where we get those little chibi versions of us and we like go, here's a 10-minute video where somebody says, I want to start playing Magic. And we go, watch this video. And like, that's an undertaking.
So like the question you ask is not like the answer is not, let's put cards in their hand. The question is, what other games do you like? And then it's a conversation. You ask them why they like those games. You ask them what parts they like. And you use your knowledge as someone who's familiar with Magic to tailor an experience to them based off of what they have said they already like and to guide them.
Mm-hmm. No, and it is hard to know, but like, I think there is, I want to play Magic. I've got 2 intro decks. Let's go. I think is a really, really good place to start in a lot of places. Just because you should get the baseline down. Let's get is this intriguing to you? So like, I think Magic's a really great game. And that's why I won't shut the hell up about Jumpstart because Jumpstart is such a great way. They didn't put any non-core set keywords in that at all. Deliberately. And I'm glad they didn't. And it's
good.
There's some strong, powerful cards that couldn't be in standard, but nothing in there seems way too good or way too confusing. There's some stuff that's really, really good, but good is exciting. Maybe a little too powerful is exciting. Confusing is too much.
But you've also got to know an amount about the game to be excited by good.
To a degree, I think Baneslayer is in the Angel pack. I don't think you need to, once you understand that how attacking works and how blocking works, and then I tell you, well, first strike means you got to hit him first. Well, that's easy enough. Here's a 5/5 that is first strike, and you're going to gain that much life when it hits. You don't need to know that much to know that seems pretty freaking sweet.
What are these other words on Baneslayer? They're flavor text. Don't worry.
But even the other words go. Wait, what? Wait, there's demons and dragons. Hell yeah, there's demons and dragons.
Of course.
So it's again, as always, Jumpstart is the best thing Wizards ever done. But
I agree with that.
And it's hopeful when it's out, it will be cheap because we're a little bit off of the idea of sticker shock. But I'm excited that Wizards is creating more ways to play Magic, to start Magic cheaply, and we both throw down $10 to $15 a piece, and we have little decks we can play against each other. Is exciting. And somebody pointed out, like, dual decks feel wrong when you take a dual deck apart.
Right.
Jumpstart is intrinsically it tells you these are separate cards from separate places that are going to go together. So by telling you how they go together, it makes you more comfortable to take them apart.
Here's half of a thing.
And something else that I've actually been getting more and more excited about. So the commander, I can't think of what it's called, the commander, whatever, the booster pack commander set. Initially, I was like, cool, reprints and new commander cards. And then I was like, okay, it'll help lower prices. That commander limited format they're trying to make is so exciting because normally when you make a draft deck, you don't turn the draft deck into a standard deck. You take it apart. When you build a commander deck out of a draft environment, you have the start of a new commander deck.
Yeah.
That's something else. That's exciting. And I don't know how much the packs are going to cost or how many it's going to take, but if it's $30 or less and you have a commander deck when you walk out, holy shit, that is the best way to get new people into Commander. Now, maybe draft's a little much and we'll have to see how the sealed environment works, but like once you know the basics, that is such a great idea. And I'm glad that Wizards is saying, hey, $35 for this pre-con, or these cards that look really cool are so expensive. New player, this looks like a lot of stuff. It's like, hey, we got this box of cards. We're going to build you a commander deck and then play against it. And then you get to keep that and keep working on it and building on it and iterating on it. So it's like Wizards is clearly making strides to lessen that sticker shock or to get other people ways into the game. And I'm super excited by that. Does anyone have any? I realized that was a tirade.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry, I got excited. I was talking about a thing I liked. Hey, would have any final thoughts? Any wrap up things we want to talk about? Sticker shock? Any other ideas we didn't cover?
Oh, I suppose my sum up point is I think Magic is a lot more like the stock market than in a lot of things, and let me explain kind of how. You can spend a lot of money in the stock market choosing things that don't help you and not doing research on things and buying into things that don't help you and they aren't profitable or useful to you. But if you have people introduce you to things and make good suggestions and you do a lot of research on what you want to do, you can get into it and, like in the stock market, make a lot of money, but in Magic have a lot of fun. And in that it's a lot easier because there's a lot more ways to have fun in Magic, and I think we've gone over a lot of those over the course of our podcasts. So there is that, but no, I think Magic is definitely a game where some of the pitfalls come in the sticker shock of floundering around without someone to throw you a lifeline or a paddle or advice. And luckily we have the internet, we have Arena, and we can do things.
Okay. I'm also hearing from you is that we should devise a way to put statistics on shares of stock so we can shuffle up a big pile of stock certificates and have fantasy battles.
Stock Wars, I like it.
Like fantasy. Oh my god. I would play that game. It's still more like meaningful than the actual stock market. I mean,
I don't understand what you mean by that. Obviously, the feelings of rich people that I'm never going to meet or interact with are clearly relevant to my life. And
I mean, they can just
attitude
disappear you
there
if they
on how I
wanted
live
to.
day to day.
Any final thoughts on Sticker Shock or new players getting into the game, Dave? Thoughts, concerns, experiences?
I would love to see an actual starter set. Maybe not like all the time. Like I think that's what their intent for core set's supposed to be. But I'd like to see like a return to the portal sets. I always like the portal sets. Like maybe once every 5 years, once every 10 years. I don't know. Something kind of cool like that. Just hey, here's a portal set. Have fun, guys.
I agree.
Give them an opportunity to print some cool cards. I don't know. Like I
Bring
like
back
the artwork.
horsemanship.
Yeah, reprint horsemanship more. Riding the Delu horse and Dio Chan, the Artful Beauty, and stuff like that.
Borrowing 100,000 arrows.
That's a lot of arrows to borrow. Like I think you need collateral.
Dave, I'm good for it.
I mean, I'll return them to you.
Portal got me into Magic. I totally agree with you. Portal's good.
I remember some podcast talking about it was like some of the designers of the game and they were just playing Portal and still having fun. And so that's why I like simple and more basic things, because even when you've got 2 3s and 4 5s and bad great kill spells, it's still a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, simple doesn't necessarily mean bad. Like there are plenty of simple games that I really enjoy. One of which it's really just an opportunity for me to say its name out loud. It's Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015.
I've actually heard really good things about that game.
It's $1 on Steam. It is a
What is
dollar
it
well.
called?
It's called Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015.
Shower with Your Dad Simulator. Okay.
2015.
I've heard actually
I
really
hope
good
there's
things
not a
about
VR version of that.
No, it is like Atari 2600 style graphics. It's intended to kind of have that really retro type feel. It's a very simple game. It's just a matching game, but the music is pretty good and it's more fun than it sounds. Maybe I'll stream that. Tam, can I stream Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015 later?
We'll talk about it, I guess.
Okay, we'll talk.
All right. Okay. And Lily, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Fun was a mistake.
The emotion?
Oh God, I wish I was on that podcast. I disagree with the whole fires thing.
But
Right.
for real though, seriously, like I think the fact that the first letter in fire is for fun is kind of like missing the forest for the trees.
Okay.
Maybe
And
so.
JC, we're actually going to move on to the post show. I want to hear your response to the other show because that seems fair, but we're going to wrap things up now. So if you want to see this mythical post show and you don't know how, all you need to do, donate $1 a month on Patreon. You'll have access to the final full uncut around video on the Patreon, and you'll be able to watch the show live as well if you'd like. So if that's interesting, quarter a week. If not, it will forever be a mystery to you, and that's fine too. I ain't here to judge your life. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We will catch you all next week. I'm sure Dave and I will be doing some streams over the next week, so tune in for those if you want on the Twitch channel.
Some
Follow
speed
us.
runs of Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015.
Yes.
There you go. So have that to look forward to. If you aren't following us on Twitch, you can follow us. You'll get notifications when we go live. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Remember who you are.